live, Sadie girl? Are we live? Hey? I'm not seeing myself on the screen yet. Are we live? Huh. Can you guys see me? It looks like I'm live, but I'm not seeing myself on my screen. Can you guys see me yet? There we go. Wow, a little weird delay. That was very strange. Okay. All right, there we go. Hey, everyone. Hey, Sarah. Sadie girl, we were just doing this. I told Sadie she's going to see Sarah. You want to see Sarah and Aaron? You want to see Uncle Ralph? Come here, get up. Where's Pam? Where's Pam? Where's Pam? I have treats in my hand. I swear that she knows your guys' names, and she definitely knows your voices. She when she hears you on video, she gets very excited. So I thought my light in here was going to be totally fine, but of course it's getting darker. Anyway, hi everyone. How you doing? Hey Richard. Hey Sarah. Hey Ralph. Melissa, it's good to see you. And Mark and Sally and Tracy. Let me see. Wait. Gershom, hey, good to see you, Gershom. So you kind of surprised me. I saw a comment recently from England, and I'm like, I thought you were like in Saudi Arabia or something. And then you left a comment and said that you're done in Saudi Arabia and you're back in England. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to end this poll real quick. Thank you all for taking the poll. It was fun to read your responses. So some of you are taking road trips this summer. Some of you not so much. All right. Well, it's mood lighting we've got going on right here now, right? All right. Trying to let me say hi to everybody first before we jump in and get started on this. Thank you all so much for being here. It's always such an honor and a privilege that you are here on my channel. I'm sorry, I should really figure all this out before. Okay, it looks like I'm freezing. Uh-oh, I'm frozen on my computer. Sadie is perfectly in frame. She is, isn't she? Hi. Did you tell everybody what you had for lunch today? You want to tell everybody, what did you have for lunch? Did you have a critter? Critter? Did you have a critter? She had a critter for lunch. She did. She caught a mouse outside. She dug it out of the ground. Anyway, okay, Sadie girl. So a lot of you are going to be traveling. Okay, pop out chat. All right, let me get the ball rolling here. Hey, Geraldo. Oh, you're not freezing. I need to stop looking at my screen then. I don't know what's going on with my computer. Hey, Ralph, thanks for being here. Hi, Roberta and Sally and Darla. And hi, everybody. Spirit Junkie, how do I lock my laptop? I'm assuming you got a new one. I got a brand new Alienware. So Sarah and Ralph might remember in Baja, or before Baja, I broke the N, and so many keys on my other laptop were broken. And then it was like an old Alienware at a floor model at Costco. It was cheap, and it's really good for editing. So the N just got to be too much. I had to pound on the N. The other thing is I bought a new camera. I bought a real camera so that I can start taking better videography and photography. And what I discovered is my old computer didn't have enough RAM, random access memory, to be able to even watch the videos on my new camera. So I spent a whole bunch of money. So I bought a new camera, and that was an investment. And then I was like, oh shoot, I can't, and I couldn't even edit. Those hour-long videos I've been making, they were taking twice as long because I didn't have enough RAM on my old laptop to edit. I mean, the drag was ridiculous. So I've only done a couple short videos. I just got this, but look how fancy it is. Actually, the keyboard even lights up like a rainbow. It's very cool. And it's 3 pounds lighter than the other one. So I'm very, very, very happy with it. That's right, Gentlestone. cost of business, operating expenses. It's just the cost of running a business. It's just my job, right? My business. So, yeah, Sadie is very pretty. So yes, I'm really excited. Look, it doesn't even have any stickers on it yet. The keyboard is clean and all the keys work, and it's got a ridiculous amount of a terabyte of storage. I think 2 terabytes, a terabyte. I thought a terabyte was enough because I use external hard drives, and I think like a ridiculous amount of RAM. A ridiculous amount of RAM. So the nice thing about Dell, I went through Dell, I could customize it. I actually had this built to my specifications. So I'm really excited. The power consumption is, the battery life is not great. So the old battery on my old one, like, it didn't work at all. I pretty much had to plug it in all the time. And the reason it was like that is because I left it plugged in all the time. So this one, I'm trying not to leave it plugged in all the time, but the battery life is not great. I have to recharge it probably a couple times a day. So it's not great. Oh, power wise though, on my battery, it's probably about the same. I think it's about the same. So my Blondie shirt. Yes, I like it too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. It's not a treat. I wish it was a treat. It's not. It's for work. Although the graphics for even watching TV are better, but it's for work. It's to make my work life easier. So I was actually thinking, I've got a bunch of rewards on my credit cards because I use my credit cards for everything. I pay for everything on credit cards, and then I pay them off every month, so I get rewards. So I've got a lot of money in rewards, $500 on one card. So I was thinking, what am I gonna buy? I'm gonna buy something. I'm really gonna treat myself. And I was like, well, I could buy a new lens for my camera. I want a telephoto lens. And I was like, that's a work thing. It's a business expense for one thing. So I think I might buy an air fryer. Oh, Barbara, I loved your Mexico trip. I'm touring New Mexico, and I'm glad you had a great time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you so much for the super chat. Wow, first super chat of the night. Woo, woo, woo. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so glad that you enjoyed Mexico, and I'm glad that you're touring New Mexico. I love New Mexico. I really want to go back someday soon. So, all right. After 8 years, you're still justifying. What am I justifying? What was I justifying? I think I need and especially Sara, you said a friend of yours has like a 400 watt one. I did a little research. I couldn't find a 400 watt one on Amazon, but I may not do Amazon. Maybe I'll get it somewhere else. I'm trying to do less Amazon. All right. So before we jump into this today, I do have some things I wanted to cover. I really wanted to do all about how to RV in Baja, because I know a lot of you have a lot of questions, and I thought it would be more fun to do an interactive live stream RVing to Baja rather than just doing a video and you guys leaving comments. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get an air fryer. So today I have an agenda. I actually have an agenda. I have some topics I want to cover. I did that survey on my community tab earlier to see what you most have questions about. But before we do, I'm going to do something a little different that I've never done in a live stream before. But this video is sponsored by Waggle. I thought it would be really fun to do a Waggle sponsorship during a live stream, because every time I talk about Waggle, I get a lot of questions. So I'm going to tell you why I love Waggle for RV life and why I think anybody who travels with a fur baby should have one. And then if you guys have any questions, I'll answer the questions for you. So this Waggle pet monitor stays inside the RV so that whenever I'm away from the RV, it talks to an app on my phone, and it'll tell me in real time what the temperature is. Right now it's 71 degrees. It'll tell me in real time what the temperature is, what the humidity is, and what the heat index is inside my RV with an app on my phone, which I'm live streaming on, so I can't show you. So the app is a monthly subscription, and as long as you're current, you can be in the grocery store, you can be in the doctor's office, and you can know in real time what is going on inside your RV. The nice thing about this right here is this runs on its own Verizon 4G signal. So wherever you are that has a good Verizon signal, you'll know that this is going to be able to talk to your cell phone, whatever provider you have. It's got one of the largest networks in the country, so you're going to be rest assured that this is always going to be able to talk to your cell phone. The other thing that's really cool about it is if you plug into RV parks and you have this plugged into an outlet, if you have a power outage, this is going to let you know. So one time I had to leave Capone behind. When I went out and celebrated my birthday, I left the air conditioning on in Matilda, and I was scared to death the whole time that the air conditioning was going to go out. Well, if I had Waggle back then, I would have known if I had a power outage. It'll also alert you if the power comes back on. So there's a lot of great things that I love about Waggle. I really think anybody who travels with a pet should probably have something like this. And this weekend, Waggle is giving a special offer, 60% off. We usually do 50 or 40%, but now they're going to offer 60% off the Waggle pet monitor, but you have to use the link in the video description below and use Sadie60. So thank you, Waggle, very much for being a sponsor of this channel. My sponsors help me be able to afford the equipment that I need to be able to continue to bring you great videos, the laptops and the cameras, and also to pay me a little bit of money for my work. So thank you, Waggle, and let me know if you have any questions. I do think it's a must. I know a lot of people who have gotten Waggle from my videos, and they love it, and I get emails all the time, and I've talked to people. It's changed their RV life. It's peace of mind. I mean, it makes you feel so much better leaving your pet behind when you know that you know in real time what's going on in your RV. So I do get some of the best Waggle offers. They're a great partner. They have been a partner, gosh, for probably they're my oldest one right now, 3 years, probably 4 years. They've been a partner, and they do give my audience really do a review for an air fryer. That's actually not a bad idea. Maybe I can contact an air fryer company and see if they'd be willing. But then I got to spend my money though. So I got to spend my money. Does it also have any GPS tracking? Is there a chip you can put on Sadie's collar? Waggle does not have that. No, that's not something Waggle has. They don't have GPS tracking. However, this does have, didn't they say this has GPS? So if somebody steals your vehicle, you'll be able to track it down. Yes, I'm pretty sure that that has that, but you can't attach this to your dog's collar. All right. Hi, Princess in Germany. Buy yourself a trip somewhere fun. You know what? I buy myself a trip somewhere fun that I don't film. That's not a bad idea. I got to tell you, I'm starting to think that I might do a live stream once a month. I really enjoyed a week off from editing. It wasn't a week off from work. I still had a lot of other work to do, but it was really nice to not have to spend hours upon hours editing this week, even though I have my new computer. I'm excited about trying it. But yes, thank you, Waggle. Thank you, Waggle. Any questions about Waggle before we move on? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all. All right. An actual vacation. I know that the Waggle has been doing some R&D. They've been testing out some new products. So yeah, maybe they'll do a tracking. Live stream mixes things up. Yeah. How long does the Waggle battery last before charging? It lasts a long time. 3 days, 2 or 3 days, maybe longer. It lasts a long time, at least 3 days. Live stream once a month is a win-win. Yeah, maybe I'll start doing that. You guys like them, and part of the reason I never liked to plan on doing them before was because I never knew where I was going to be and what kind of cell signal I was going to have. Not an issue. I'm still trying to get some light in here. I got to stop looking at myself. trying to now it's not an issue with Starlink. I never have an issue about a cell signal. Yeah, air fryers are pretty cheap. I was looking at them. They're not bad. All right, so let's talk about Baja. So I've got a couple questions that patrons asked, and I'm going to answer those either as they come up or later. But I am going to talk today about how to travel to Baja. So I'm going to talk about, depending on how much time we have and how many questions I have, I thought number one, we would talk about the paperwork that you need to travel to Baja in an RV. Number two, I would talk about insurance for your vehicle, your RV. And number three, I would talk about the border crossing, kind of like what to expect, what's it like, what you're going to need to know and do and have. Number four, I'll talk about banking as far as credit cards and ATMs. I thought number five, I would talk about your cell phone and internet and what that is like down there. And number six, I'm going to talk about some of the tools and resources that I used in my research, our research, but I think we all kind of did our own little research and kind of brought our findings to the group. But some of the things that I found most helpful when I was doing my research. And then finally, Cynthia asked, and the thing that most of you are interested in is how much it cost. So Cynthia gave me a very detailed breakdown of the things that she was interested in knowing the costs of traveling to Baja. It's a very labor-intensive process, and I wasn't able to get it done in time for this video. I am going to do a separate video about the costs of going to Baja in an RV, and a lot of it was cash. So so that's going to take a little time to try to figure that out. And I'm going to do a video. I will do a standalone video, since that was the most popular as well, about a breakdown of all of the costs, eating out and gas and insurance. Oh, I forgot about insurance. I already started my spreadsheet and totally forgot to add in insurance. So I'm going to do that for you probably this week. I'm going to try to get that done for you. I haven't done a Thursday video in a while. I'll try to do a Thursday video this week, if not next week, because I'm traveling as well. So, all right. How we doing? Did I miss anything while I was talking? Yes, pet is there under paperwork. I've got the pet is there. So good lineup. All right. Having you been getting lots of sun for your Bluetti? Yes, my Bluetti has been running very, very well. Actually, and the days are longer, so I don't even have to use it as much. So, all right, let's talk about, yes, and under paperwork, I have bullet points under paperwork and passport, vehicle, pets is on there. So I will talk about what I needed for Sadie as well. All right. So the paperwork that you're going to need to cross the border. You guys have a pen and paper? You have a spreadsheet? You taking notes? Get a pen and paper, open up your computer, open up your document or your spreadsheet, take some notes. And if you miss anything, you can always rewatch this video. All right. So, of course, number one, you need a passport. The days are gone that you can cross the Mexican border with just a driver's license, or even the new, what's the new fancy driver's license they have, Real ID. You can't. You have to have a passport to cross into Mexico, and especially to get back into the United States. So paperwork number one, you have to have a passport. Number two on the paperwork is you need your vehicle registration, your RV. If like Ralph had a motorcycle, Edie and Cindy had a separate car. You have to have current registration, not just the sticker. You need to actually show the registration. I feel like we had to show that at the border. We did, right, Sara and Ralph? We actually had to show our registration when we got into Mexico at the border. I think that was really the only time anybody ever asked for it. So you have to have current registration on all the vehicles. Even if you're towing the vehicle, you need to have current registration. Also, if you don't own your vehicle outright, if you have a lien holder, if you're paying off, if you have a monthly payment on your RV, you are going to need to get a letter from your lien holder, from your lender, giving you permission to take your RV across the border. So these things might take a while. So you might want to start the process of all this paperwork at least 2 months before you go. Of course, your passport, you're probably going to want to start that. Sara and Aaron, what you guys started that like 6 months, right? Before you crossed. The passport can take weeks, I think up to 8 weeks, maybe 12. But you know, any letters that you might need from your finance company, from your lien holder, you're going to want to start all of this 2 months early. If you are on the road like we were and your registration is coming due, you might want to pay that early so you have your registration in hand before you go. You have to have those things. All right. No, I did not buy tequila. I'm sober. I'm sober. I think I had a sip. Who bought tequila? Yeah, actually, Aaron bought some tequila, really, really, really good tequila, and I was extremely curious. I didn't even take a sip. I think I just stuck my finger in it and tasted it, and it was gross. All right. So, no, I did not buy tequila. Everybody else did. I think there was a lot of tequila buying, just not me. The FMM. So the FMM, I don't know what it stands for, is basically your visa for traveling into Baja. There's a lot of controversy about whether or not you really need one. When you're traveling in like the border cities, if you're crossing into Algodones to get medical dental work done, if you're crossing into Mexicali for the day, there are zones, I can't remember what the zones are called, where you do not need to get an FMM. So if you're crossing the border, even in your RV, I think, and just going to those border towns, you don't need an FMM. But if you're traveling deeper into Baja or Mexico, you have to have a visa. It's really easy to get. You're supposed to be able to get it online. Several people in our group, including me, tried to get it online, but then the payment system was broken. And so I went partway in the process of getting it online, and then I couldn't pay for it. So I ended up having to get it in person at the office. Super easy, except the form. It's like 5-point font on the form. So make sure your prescription is up to date or take a magnifying glass. It was really hard to read. It's a tiny form, tiny print. And it's just your basic questions. One of the questions that you're going to need to prepare for if you're going to travel like we did is they're going to ask you where you're going. And I kind of forgot about this until we were standing in line and we all had a discussion about it. I actually had an address of a Cabo San Lucas RV park that I was going to write down. They're not going to check. They just don't, just every time you cross a border, even into Canada, they want to know where are you going. They don't necessarily like the idea of you just wandering aimlessly through their country. They want you to have a destination. So find an address. It could be San Felipe, it could be Cabo San Lucas, it doesn't matter. An address of where you're going. I chose Cabo San Lucas because we were thinking we were going to go all the way to Cabo. And I was thinking, well, if anybody looks at my FMM and my destination is San Felipe, where I'm going to stay, and I'm south of San Felipe, could that cause problems? So I figured Cabo San Lucas, I'm covered for both states, you know, Baja California and Baja California Sur. So just know ahead of time that you're going to need to find an address of a place, whether you stay there or not. It's another story. We never did, right? But they want you to have an address to fill that out. Everything else is pretty basic. You know, birthday, just, you know, your normal basic stuff. That was really the only thing. All right, FMM, vehicle registration, letter from your lender, passport, pets. So the only thing for traveling into Mexico that I needed for Sadie was proof of rabies. And if you look at any online information, they're going to say that rabies vaccine needed to be administered within a year of you crossing the border. Well, a year and a half ago, Sadie got her 3-year rabies vaccine. I wasn't going to give it to her again just to meet that requirement. So nobody ever asked. I had a copy of it though, anyway, of her current, she is current on her rabies. I had a copy of it. Nobody ever asked, ever. I mean, how many checkpoints did we go through? We went through the border. Nobody ever asked for her papers. But we had it just in case. That's it. That's all she needed. I mean, she had medications and I took all those with us, no problem or anything like that. And then finally on the paperwork, I did make photocopies of everything because I had read, especially in mainland Mexico where you have a lot of police corruption, I read that you never hand your passport over to a police officer because they'll hold it for ransom to bribe you. So I made copies of my passport, my driver's license, my vehicle registration, and I had like 5 copies of each of those just in case I ever ran into something like that. The only people who ever asked me for my passport were the military at the military checkpoints, and I never had any qualms about handing it over. I handed it over, I always got it back. So I wouldn't pull up to a military checkpoint and give them a photocopy of your passport. You can try, but I wouldn't. They're pretty serious. They get inside your vehicle and they're, you know, they even have a sense of humor. They get how invasive it can feel, and they're very good. They really, I think, go out of their way to make you feel comfortable while they're going through your cupboards, your underwear drawer, and you know, but yeah, we never had a problem handing the passports, but I still have all the photocopies. And for me, every time I travel to a foreign country, that's just what I do. What I normally do when I'm traveling to Europe, New Zealand, Greece, wherever I went, is I usually also make copies of my credit cards. And Ralph made a really good point. Why the heck are you making photocopies when you can just take pictures and put them in the cloud, which is what he did. And for me, I like the comfort of having a tangible photocopy. What if I don't have an internet signal? What if my phone gets stolen? What if it gets lost and I can't access the cloud and I need all my important documentation? So I prefer to have hard copies of everything. I did not make copies of my credit cards, but I usually do photocopies of all my credit cards, all their numbers, just in case they get lost or stolen and I have to call and report them. And that was one step I didn't take on this trip. Maybe that's just a sign of me getting more comfortable traveling internationally and never having an issue. All right, so that is the paperwork. Ralph, Sarah, did I cover everything on the paperwork? And does anybody have any questions they want to ask about paperwork? Yeah, I like hard copies. And I'll also usually when I travel internationally, also usually when I'm traveling internationally, I fly, right? So I have everything in a suitcase and a carry-on. You know, now this time I had my home with me, so maybe there was another level of comfort there. I usually also make multiple sets of my photocopies. And so I'll have one in my carry-on, one in my money belt, and one in my luggage, just in case one of those things gets stolen. So multiple sets of the photocopies too, but I didn't even do that this time. I made one set. One year. So 1 year for that's what all the websites say. Your pet has to be vaccinated for rabies within the last year, which is stupid because they have a 3-year rabies vaccination. I think if she was on the tail end of that 3 years, especially now seeing all the stray dogs there, and some of them were pretty mangy. If she was on the tail end of that, maybe even in the 2nd year, I probably would have gone ahead and got her rabies done. But she literally was just a little over a year ago. So she has an active 3-year rabies, and that was fine. Yeah, email a copy of your passport. That's a good idea, to a Gmail account or something like that. No, I do not need those things for protection. COVID vaccines. You know, I know I'm not anti-vax, but I got the first shot and a booster and I haven't gotten anything since. Just it's hard for me to do stuff like that, medical stuff, especially. God, it just seems to be getting harder. Okay, let me ask you guys this. I was so upset. Since when do prescriptions expire? This seems like something new to me. So Sadie's prescription had 3 refills left, but it was written a year ago, so it expired. So I had to go to the vet and get a new prescription. Same with my migraine meds. I had like 6 refills left. Oh, but it expired. So I had to go back to my, so prescriptions only last a year now, even if you have 100 refills left. Stupid. So, no, you cannot take those GUNS into Mexico. No, you can't. No. You're not even supposed to travel across state lines most of the time with them. Since when do prescriptions only last a year? I had a migraine prescription, I swear, lasted years. I feel like that's something new. No pew-pews. I like that word. No pew-pews. That'll be my code word. Hi, Carolyn Freebird. They always had expiration dates. Okay. Pam has 0.44 clause. All right. Any other questions about paperwork? Oh my God, Marlene! I was just looking at a post. You're looking for some golf clubs. Oh my gosh, talk about a blast from the past. We used to work together. I love you and I miss you. Wow. Hi, it's so good to see somebody from my former life here. Hi, Marlene. So sad about Richard. So sad about Richard. So we worked at a newspaper together selling advertising. Wow. Talk about back in the old days. And one of the reporters, Richard Friedman, just recently passed away. He was one of my favorite reporters at the paper. He was a really nice guy. People are just passing away. It's like too much. All right. Any other questions? Marlene, it's so nice to see you here. All right. You guys, oh my God, I would love, okay, we need to chat. I would, just thinking about her recently. Gosh, wow. All right. I still have the Class C rig. Yeah. All right. That does happen as we age. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about meds, anxiety meds. So refill the meds as often as you can. I try to do that, but I've been traveling so much the last couple of years, just everything is just weird for me. I mean, how many years in a row now? 3-4 years I've been making this cross-country trip, and it's a lot. Carolyn has a Sprinter now. Surprise! I have a Sprinter van, a Mercedes Sprinter. That's me. And I am now all #van life. Spotless. The bikini shots of me cleaning my RV are next. Don't get excited, trolls. All right. #van life. I have a new hashtag. Not #van life is my new hashtag. Hey, CC Castro. I thought your members only account was next. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I hit the building. Carolyn in the building. Mercedes. Yo, can you imagine? No. All right. Let's talk about insurance for Mexico, because this was really, really confusing to me, because every resource that you read is going to say you absolutely have to have Mexican car insurance. And I'm like, okay, I have insurance and it covers me in Mexico. Isn't that enough? No, it is not. Because you have to actually, they don't recognize, Mexico does not recognize American insurance. So, and I guess, I don't know. I'm not going to prosthetize, whatever. I'm not going to try to figure out what that's about, other than maybe making some money for the Mexican people. There, I said it, which is fine. So anyway, you cannot use your American insurance. I mean, they might cover you also, but you have to have a you have to have vehicle insurance, and you don't need comprehensive. You only need liability, and you have to have it through a Mexican company. We used Baja Bound because I did some research, and the resources that I used said that that was the best, and we kind of did some price comparisons. I'm still like wondering about I need to do some research. I'm still wondering about the roadside assistance number they gave us and why it didn't work. But we all paid for 6 months of Mexican car insurance, RV insurance through Baja Bound. And the reasoning that I heard is so that if you get in an accident in Mexico, they require your insurance adjuster to go out on the scene immediately, and you need somebody who can speak Spanish. So yes, you have to buy additional insurance through a Mexican provider. Full stop. All right. It's all about the revenues. So, Deb, what percentage of RVs are smaller? Okay, what percentage of rigs and RVs are smaller, like vans or Class Cs or large A? Is there more restrictions for larger RVs? Okay. I don't understand that question. Nomad Terry, thank you for the super chat. So you want me to actually go count all the RVs in Baja and tell you what percentage are Class Bs and Class Cs? Am I understanding you correctly? And no matter where you are, the United States or Mexico, the larger your RV, the more restricted you're going to be as far as where you can go. That's true here, and that's true there. The bigger you are, the fewer options you have, period. Yeah, Ralph makes a good point. The pricing on insurance is interesting. If you're buying more than 2 weeks worth, you might as well get 6 months. Yeah, excellent point. So, and then if you get a year, I don't even remember how much we paid. Like, I think I paid like $365 or something, and I got full coverage for 6 months, and it would have been like $200 more to get a full year. So I think it was like, I'll have to look it up, but I think it was like 365, 370 or something for full coverage based on the value of your RV. I put 20,000, which was very, very liberal. 20,000 RV, but I figured that might also cover stuff inside the RV as well. And I don't really, honestly, yeah, don't know what my RV is worth. Not 20,000. Thank you, Nomad Terry. I appreciate it. A friend of mine just wrecked his car in Mexico. No insurance. She's in a huge mess. Don't take a chance. Her insurance said she was covered, but it was like she had no, exactly. It was like she had no insurance and there were 2 injuries. Absolutely. Because thank you for, and I'm sorry that happened to your friend, but I was tempted to be like, I have American insurance. Why the heck would I buy extra insurance? But that's exactly what I was told. And I'm going to get to resources in a minute. I have a couple groups that I got some invaluable information from, so I'm going to share those with you. But yes, that is exactly what I heard. All right. Ford Tough. That's right. I'm renaming my RV the fucking Beast. The fucking Beast, not just the Beast, the fucking Beast. This thing, man. I think I do need an alignment though, but that's another story for another day. Don't bring your ducks. They will be confiscated. All right. Any questions about insurance? Is this helpful? Are you guys are you taking notes? Who's taking notes? Is this helpful? I hopefully people will be rewatching this later too. The effing Beast is right. Oh my gosh. This rig, man. She's been through some things. Yes, Lance is taking notes. Awesome. Okay, good. Roberta, I have it all together. I don't have no ducks. I don't got no stinking ducks. Carolyn, oh my God. No. How? No. Carolyn, I have to say, no tasting alcohol, no matter how curious. I have been tasting alcohol for probably 10 years. I have been wine tasting. I have been beer tasting. Little 3 or 4 sips. How much do I like people telling me what I can and cannot do? And I'm really surprised you would tell me that. Wow. You do your sobriety. I will do mine. FMM stands for Forma Migratoria Multiple. All right. Her insurance is claiming she was in an illegal accident. Oh, that is sad. That is sad. I can't stop not getting triggered by that crap, by people telling me how to live my life. If somebody has a secret to help me not get triggered by this constantly, my therapist has been working with me for so long. God. All right. Yeah, it is offensive. I don't need a mother. All right. I have one, thank you. All right, let's get back to Baja. The border crossing. Who wants to hear about border crossing? It was so easy. It was ridiculously easy. I mean, I think we went from our gas station meetup spot near the border to being in Mexicali in like what? 45 minutes. The longest thing at the border was going in to get our FMM. And I think we were like second in line, but filling out the paperwork, and there were what? 4 of us, 6 of us. I think we all ended up there. Sara and Aaron and I, of course, were first because we did the team thing, but we were in and out of there pretty quick. So you pull up we did Mexicali East in both directions. Mexicali East going into Mexico. Huge parking areas. Sara and Aaron and I parked right at the curb, right in front of the FMM office. Did they inspect our vehicles at the border? I remember asking for the passports and asking for registration. That they must have inspected our vehicle, right, Sara, at the border? So, yeah, they did ask for the registration. Oh, let me talk about one more thing in a minute about Sadie. Yeah, and they did inspect our vehicles. Ralph, I had my first internal inspection. Oh, they asked you about Starlink and your solar panels. Oh, wow. So yeah, they just asked me for the passport, my registration, and then we walked into the FMM office. We got our FMM, which was super easy. Fill out the form, show your passport. They give you a thing. They stamp your passport. If you're lucky, I didn't get a stamp. And then you're on your way. Driving through Mexicali is like driving through any city. Google did a really good job. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Sara and Aaron did a really good job of leading me to the Costco, which is what our first meetup point in Mexicali. But it's a city. And we heard a lot that drivers are really crazy and really bad in Baja. That was not our experience at all. Completely the opposite. In fact, Ralph asked on Patreon what the most about Baja, and I think that was it. I remember when I went to Athens, when I went to Greece, I rented a car, and they told me, watch out. Greece was insane. I mean, rude and zipping around and speeding, and Athens is a big, tiny city, like tiny streets. It was insane. And I was kind of expecting the same in Baja, and it wasn't like that at all. The drivers are very courteous. They're very patient. They're very they'll stop, like if they don't need to stop, to let you go. I had to turn around. Well, that was a different story in San Felipe that last day, but there were times I had to turn around, or I made a wrong turn, or I was in the middle of a street and I needed to turn, and people just patiently waited. Go ahead. So driving through Mexicali was not that bad. It really wasn't bad at all, especially following Sara and Aaron. big, tiny city. So what I mean is Athens is a very, very big city, but the streets are extremely narrow. The streets are tiny, 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 narrow because these old European cities weren't built for cars, right? So they still exist to this day when they had horses. And now cars drive on these streets. You know, some of them have been widened, but they're big cities with very, very narrow streets. And that's the way Athens is. And a lot of one ways, and it's a lot of traffic, and it's congested, and it just feels tiny and claustrophobic. But so that was the border crossing. Super easy. Going back was a little harder. One thing I didn't talk about in the video, I ended up cutting it out for because it was getting so long, is that one of the groups that I was using for information about RVing in Baja, a couple people had said the 2 days before leading up to us going to the border that Mexicali East was closed to RVs. So when we decided that last day to just make a run for the border, we were like, what should we do? Should we just do Mexicali East, or should we just go to Mexicali West? And I think when we met up, I was like, you know what? It's a long day. We know Mexicali East. Let's just try it. And we got there and we were able to get through. It was hard to get to. It was a little hard to get to. Like I feel like we circled around it like 5 times before we finally got to it. There aren't, like you would expect to see big signs, USA that way. There aren't. So getting back into the United States on Mexicali East was a little more challenging. Not that bad. Just wouldn't do it on a Friday night during rush hour, if they have rush hour in Mexicali. I'm sure they do. You know, and that was, we didn't mean to do that. It was just because of the way the day had gone. But I know, why did it take so long to get to the border crossing? So Sara, I have been reading since that is because whatever was going on that those other people had talked about was still going on, and usually you're allowed to approach the border from the east, but we couldn't. So we had to the only approach that was open was from the west. So I think that's part of why it took so long for us to get to the border. I think that even though we were able to cross, I still think there was some leftover construction or something that was preventing us from going the way Google wanted to take us. Yeah, I think that's, I've been reading that, and I think that's what was going on. I think we hit a little bit of whatever some of those other people hit. No, nobody tried to bribe us. Nope. Did you watch our videos by any chance? How many videos did you guys watch? Yeah, it was a little more confusing going across the border from Mexico into the United States than vice versa. That's for sure. They don't want people to leave. Yeah. Like a casino or a mall. Yeah. All right. All right. All right. Where is she? Cheryl, if you're still here, not Cheryl. Who did I lose my temper? Smooth Skater. I apologize for losing temper. Now that I'm a little calmer, I probably could have handled that with a little more grace. All right. Banking. So fourth on my list is banking. So number one, what I would do is find the credit card that has the best international services. Like some cards, I even noticed, because I have several different cards, and I was using, like, I have business cards and I have personal cards, and I have cards that I get points on and all kinds of stuff. So I used several cards. My Capital One card had 0 foreign transaction fees. That's my business card. I probably should have used that for everything and then just had my accountant break everything. You know, I should have had my CPA say, okay, this is personal, this is business, because there were no foreign transaction fees on my Capital One. On some of my other credit cards, there were, through my personal bank, there were foreign transaction fees. Not very much, $4 or $5 here and there, but they add up. So make sure if you don't have a card that has a good foreign policy, then you might want to do some research and find a card. Probably, I'm assuming all the Capital One cards are probably the same and don't have any foreign transaction fees. Sarah says their credit union was pretty good and they even refunded us some ATM fees. Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. That's good to know. That's really good to know. Actually, I still have a credit union. Huh. I still have an old credit union somewhere. So yeah, you're going to want to check with your bank and check with your credit cards just to see what that is. All right. What the fees are. And the other thing is ATMs are few and far between in Baja and they cost a fortune. I was actually going through my bank statements, Sarah and Aaron, I don't know if you've noticed this yet, and Ralph, going through my bank statements and to do the research for the cost. And one thing I noticed that I didn't notice at the time was that if I took out 5,000 pesos, even at City Banamex, they charged me 5,040. Oh, so that's pesos. Okay, so that's 40 pesos, which is what, like 17, like $3 or $4. Okay, I was freaking out for a minute thinking it was like $40. So, and then in addition, I had a foreign exchange. No, wait. And then I had an ATM fee on top of that for some of my banks. So, okay, here's what I'm trying to say is that ATMs are few and far between. Get as much cash as you can at each ATM. And the City Banamex we found were the least expensive of all of the ATMs in Baja. We went to the first one we went to in San Felipe was ridiculous. We were still trying to get the lay of the land. If you can, I tried going to my bank in El Centro before I crossed the border, but they had to order it. And I was there the day before. So it's probably best to go through your bank on the US side before. You're probably going to get the best exchange rate and the lowest fees. I would take out, I mean, I'm not worried at this point about getting robbed or anything. So I would probably, what did we go through? Probably 20,000 pesos, something like that. I would probably take with me. Gosh, was it really? Yeah, probably 20,000 at least pesos I went through. Is that right? That sounds like a lot. Let me do the math real quick. 20,000. That sounds like a lot. Maybe I mean 2,000. 20,000 divided by 17. Oh, $1,000. Okay, that might be a little high, but I don't know. Yeah, carry as much pesos as you can. ATMs are few and far between. They're expensive. You're not going to get the best. Well, actually, through my bank, I got the best exchange rate. So that's not an issue. It's just mostly the ATM fees. And we were like scratching our heads the whole time we were in Baja. Baja is such a cash society. Like, every little town you go to, like the little stores don't take cards usually, the little restaurants don't take cards. It is such a cash heavy society that we were like, how can there be so few ATMs? I mean, in the big cities, of course, like Santa Rosalia, right? Santa Mulahay, San Felipe, Guerrero Negro. Guerrero Negro had the City Banamex. So maybe that's what you do. You stock up in the US and then, you know, half of what you're going to need. And if you're, yeah, Guerrero Negro is a good place. So we were really, really surprised how few ATMs there are for how much cash is needed, how much of a cash society it is. So, and a couple people also made comments. In my last video, we went to the gas station and their machine was down. And they were like, and I said, we don't have cash. We don't have cash. And everybody's like, you need to carry at least 1,000 pesos with you at all times. Yes, I had 1,000 pesos. Sarah and Aaron probably had 1,000 pesos, but we didn't want to spend it on gas. That's the point. You know, and how many pesos was it to fill our tanks? 4,000, 3,000 pesos to fill our tanks? Right? Sarah and Aaron, how many was it? Yeah, and a few places did take US money closer to the border. I feel like some places did. Some places, though, at that gas station, I said, will you take American money? And he said, yes, but the exchange rate is horrible. And like, it was like 17 pesos to the dollar, and they were offering like 14 or 15 or something like that. So they're on to us. 3 to 4K to fill a tank. Yeah. So yeah, we had cash, but we're not going to give up all of our cash at a gas station if we don't need to, because they're playing games with us about not wanting to take cards. It's the principle of the matter. All right. All right. Yep, exactly. The gas station was a long story. We didn't get gas on principle. Exactly. I actually told that story, Sarah, but I cut some of that out because I didn't want to tell your story. So yeah, there was a story there for sure. And I was like, Sarah and Aaron and Sarah and Aaron. And I was like, I'm not going to tell Sarah and Aaron's story. I'm going to let them tell their story. So I cut that out. But yeah, there was a history. Yeah, the one that said the internet was down. I left some of it in, but there was some that I took out. They had a sign that they took cards. Exactly. And then both times, I feel like somebody else told me in comments the same thing happened to them. Every time they go to that gas station, they always say they don't take cards. So yeah. All right. Any questions up to this point about anything? What about traveler's checks? I feel like that would be really hard to deal with in Mexico. Yeah. I mean, no. I feel like that would be extremely difficult and challenging to deal with in Mexico. Fill up in San Felipe, basically. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. San Felipe, and then what? Mula, Santa Rosalia. Yeah. Credit cards charge merchants. Any idea the amount? I think it's like 4 or 5%. It's not cheap. And I understand that. But if you don't want to take credit cards, don't put a sign up. Don't advertise it. Period. All right. All right. All right. On to the next subject. Cell phone and internet. So I have Verizon, and in the cities that had cell towers, my cell service was fine, but kind of like ATMs, it can be really hit or miss. I think most of the big cities, San Felipe, Guerrero Negro, Santa Rosalia, Mulahay, all had cell service, but you go.
Patron, CNTRFORSTUDY.
What the heck? I'm getting spam. But anything outside of that, even right outside of that, you're shit out of luck. You got no cell service. So, oh yeah, Ralph, Sarah reminded me on her live stream. I owe you money too for the walkie talkies. Thank God we had the walkie talkies. If you're going to be traveling in a group, you absolutely have to have a good set of walkie talkies so that you can communicate, because there will be no cell service in between big cities. So absolutely, the walkie talkies were a lifesaver, and they were fun. I kind of didn't. I'm like, oh, it's just a toy. These guys just want to play with some toys, thinking to myself. But they really came in handy. We really needed them. So, and Starlink is a lifesaver. Sarah and Aaron and I had many conversations about how that trip would not have been possible because we all work. There is no way we would have been able to make that trip without Starlink as people who work. So Starlink worked well. We never had an issue. It doesn't cost anymore. It's what do we pay? $150, $160 a month. It's not cheap, but it's a life changer for my life, and it worked really, really great in Mexico. So yeah, highly recommend Starlink. All right, number 6 on my list, tools and resources. The first thing on my list is walkie-talkies. We already talked about that. The other emergency numbers, 911, was it 911? Worked all well when we were in San Felipe and we had to call the police to come and help me get unstuck. We just called 911. So there is another number. Sarah, would you happen to have that number, Sarah or Ralph? meant to research it. Roof shingles. I meant to research it before I started this live stream and I forgot. I recently found another number that you can call in an emergency and get an American or get somebody who speaks English, kind of like an English speaking liaison. So if Sara or Ralph can't find that, I will post it on my community post later today. But so those are the emergency numbers, 911, and I want to say it starts with a 0. I want to say 0. I'm not going to say what I think it is in case it's wrong. I don't want to give you guys that idea. I'll post it on the community tab later. The other group, there are 2 groups on Facebook that were invaluable. It's current. People post every day. I posted questions about crossing the border and they were answered with really good, valid information. And the Facebook groups are RVing in Baja and Mexico, travel in Mexico. Do a search on, I forgot to do this research. So yeah, RVing to Baja and something like Mexico travel or something like that. So yes, excellent. I can't say enough about those 2 resources that I used. The other thing though is if you are going to use those groups, the RVing to Baja group, when we were getting ready, we were a couple days away from crossing. Ralph was actually getting ready to cross, and I had a question that I wanted to ask to help him, and it took like 36 hours for my post to get approved and posted. So you might need to plan ahead a little bit. They have really tight moderating on the group, so it took a long time for my post to publish. So just be aware of that. Online, the other, and just, I can't think of anything else. There were several other. Baja Bound is actually the insurance company. They've got really good blogs and really good information on their website. So you might want to look at that too. All right. And then how much it cost. Like I said, I have a whole breakdown of expenses by category of everything that went into the trip. And I'll post a video of that probably Thursday. All right. Any questions? Oh, 78. Oh, you're awesome. Thank you, Sara. Thank you very much, Sara. So the other emergency number for traveling in Baja is 078. And that is a liaison. They'll actually get you an English speaking. So when I called 911, I did not get an English speaking operator. I was trying to speak in Espanol. She did not know hardly any English. We were laughing a little bit. She had to transfer me to an English speaker to get me the help that I needed. So that's 911. You are not guaranteed when you call 911. You probably will not get an English speaker. So this other number, though, I read on the RV Baja group on Facebook, 078, you call that number and you will get an English-speaking liaison to help you in an emergency. So I wish we had known that. That would have been a great resource for us to have. So I wanted to pass that along to you. All right. Questions. I will. Oh, is Edie here? Oh, hey, Edie. Back from supper. 078. Oh, the Green Angels. So I wonder, that's interesting. So the Green Angels are 078. I wonder if 911 patched us through to the Green Angels. Because we thought that the Green Angels were actually just the police. Because I think they had green uniforms. I thought it was just the American. I don't know. Anyway, that might be who they dispatched us through to the Green Angels for the American, the English speaker. All right. Hi, Haven. Hi, Edie. Hope you had a good dinner. We only have 40 or the 300. Wait. So we only have 40 thumbs ups. You might have to refresh. We have 300 people watching. Can y'all hit the thumbs up for me? Let me see. I see 20, but I'd have to refresh. Food shopping, hard to find certain stuff. So yes, if you have yeah, I mean, some of the American, spoiled brat stuff that we get, is hard to find. Oat milk was hard to find. They found it in the grocery store in San Felipe. Of course, I didn't find. Actually, gluten-free was not that hard to find. A lot of the major grocery stores had a lot of gluten-free stuff, so that's catching on. You can find dairy-free milk. It just may not be what you're used to. They have plenty of soy and plenty of almond dairy-free milk. And that everywhere, pretty much everywhere had dairy-free milk and gluten-free stuff. But like I said, tofu, which is one of my staples. I bought it once and it was bad. I only saw it once. Of course, no vegan cheese at all. I did find soy rizo, so soy chorizo. I saw that a couple of times, so that was nice. But I was actually looking at my grocery budget for Baja, and I spent far less on groceries, even though the prices were really, really high. And that might be also because we ate out and I took a lot of stuff with me. But I really didn't spend a lot on groceries. Rice and beans as a vegan, and I still, even though I ate fish and shrimp while I was there, I still cooked vegan. So, when we weren't eating out, I was still eating plant-based in my RV. So, coffee filters were hard to find. Coffee was not hard to find, but if you're picky about coffee, we did find some pretty good coffee that I'm still drinking that I actually like. The clear bags with the green writing was actually pretty good whole bean coffee. Yeah, of course, again, my grocery bill is only what I paid for with a card. I don't know how much I bought at little markets with cash. I'm not sure. So it may not be accurate. Is it safe for a solo female to travel from Mexicali to San Felipe? 1,000%. 1,000%. You're driving through Mexicali, you're on a long desert road, and then you're in San Felipe. And San Felipe, it totally safe. Totally safe. Yes, absolutely. Was there a limit on the amount of cash you can cross the border with? I think it's $10,000. I think it's 10,000 American is the most you can cross the border with. It was $40 on paper towels. That's right. So there are these stores in the bigger cities. Was that I think that was Guerrero Negro. They have signs that say like Costco, Kirkland, and a couple other things. And I think what they actually do is go to the Costco in Mexicali to supply up their store and then resell it. And they put a pretty hefty surcharge on, I showed you in my video some of the prices, $10 for a jar of peanut butter. So stuff is not, don't go to Mexico thinking it's going to be cheap. Even $5 for a taco. I think the average price we paid for a taco, or the lowest price I think we paid for a taco, is $5. It's not, that's a lot for a little taco, in my opinion, right? So don't go down there. And the other thing too, someone said this in comments recently, and I think it's a fair statement. Baja really isn't real Mexico. It's very, 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 very American and Canadianized. It's very gringoized. I mean, it's mostly white people. It is mostly non-locals. And the locals, the gringo locos that we talked to also talked about how bad inflation has gotten down there since COVID. A lot of people want to blame Joe Biden for the high inflation. Well, it's a worldwide phenomenon. And it just so happens that our country is doing better than most countries in the world right now. And Mexico is still really struggling with really high inflation due to the post-pandemic world that we live, and also because so many Americans are moving to Mexico. Here's a fun fact. 60 million Americans live in other countries. 60 million Americans have left the United States to live in other countries. I think that's an interesting fact, don't you? So the reason prices have gotten so much higher in Mexico is in Baja, supply and demand. So inflation from the post-pandemic and also just gringo inflation, right? We'll pay it. We go down there, we'll pay it. So it's not as cheap. Gas is extremely expensive, $5.77, $5.75 a gallon for gas. Everything, yeah, it wasn't as cheap as you might think. Camping is not cheap. $30 a night, $40 a night for RV parks. Yeah. All right. That's right. Biden made the whole world have high inflation. That's right. Mexico too. Yeah, there are tons of expats who live in Baja, definitely. TD Hawk. Hi, TD Hawk. Talking about goat milk. All right. So, hi from the old man that took the thorn out of... Oh my God, Bill. Hi, Bill. Thank you for reminding me that we met and that you were the wonderful farmer, right? Who took that big, huge thorn out of Sadie's paw. That was no easy task, and you were amazing. So thank you, Bill, and thanks for saying hi. It's good to see you. All right, people are debating goat's milk. Did you meet any rude people? I don't think so. I can't think of any. Just Ralph. Just kidding. Ralph's my brother. Ralph is Uncle Ralph. No, I can't think of, I mean, Sara said it beautifully in, I think it was her live stream. She said it beautifully. Most people were extremely friendly, but in some of the areas that were very tourist heavy, a couple times I sensed a little impatience. It wasn't outright, it wasn't rude, it was just kind of you could sense they weren't smiley and happy and as gracious as some other people were. And again, it was mostly the tourist towns, and you're gonna, yeah, you can't blame them. And I'm thinking of one waitress in particular, who, we had, I think it was our first week there, and we were like, "Hablo inglés?" No. And then later on in the conversation, she did know a little English, and you can't blame her one bit. She's like, "You're in my country. You tell my people to speak your language. You come to my country, you got to speak my language." So in some of the heavier touristy areas, they weren't always as patient. But they weren't, again, it wasn't outward rudeness. It was just, an underlying like, okay, gringa. All right. That was, do you know what meal I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I never took it personally either. Exactly. You mean you're a visitor in someone else's country, and especially the service industry in general. I mean, I waited tables all the way up until, and a little bit after college. I actually bartended for a while too, but the service industry, I couldn't do it today. You see how I react I work for myself, so I don't have to be, the customer is always right. But I came up in a time when the customer was always right. There is no way you couldn't pay me enough to be in the service industry these days. So yeah, I didn't take any of it personally. They're working, waiting tables, or whatever service job they have, serving Americans in a very tenuous time. It's just got to be difficult. So never took it personally. Hi, Maria Sierra. Good to see you. Yeah, serving people sucks. Yeah. I'm sure they see lots of cringe. Oh, totally. Oh, I can imagine. The customer is always right in matters of taste. Yeah. Oh, Linda Floyd, 21 years bartending. Wow. That's hard. It's hard. Oh, the customer is always right in matters of taste. Oh, wow. Oh, that's what. Oh, so Sarah, I didn't realize I didn't realize that was the whole quote. I always heard the customer is always right. My first job was Dunkin' Donuts, and I swear to God, they like tattooed that on my eyeballs. No. Mm-mm. All right. Oh, Lynn. That means a lot to me. Thank you, Lynn Reese. I've known her a long time, and it just in comments, I've even met her. It just I don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do. I don't know why that's so hard. All right. How many miles did we travel in Baja? Um, 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 yeah, Sally, it was a language. Well, was the frustration the language barrier? No. Frustration on your face is a universal language. you Yeah, frustration is universal. You don't need words to express frustration, and we definitely were. Yeah, we saw it for sure. All right. Linda Floyd, you feel the same way about what? That you don't need people telling you what the hell to do with your life? Don't ever start a YouTube channel, because boy, because my goodness, treat me like I'm 5. All right. But I'm over it, really. Really, I'm totally over it. Ah. Seriously though, even before I left the Bay Area, I'd go wine tasting with friends and have a sip of wine every once in a while, you know? I mean, it's not a big deal. I do not want to ever go back to the way I was. It's just not a big deal to me. I can take a couple. I remember when I was young, my grandmother got sober. And when probably a teenager in my 20s, my mother freaked the hell out that my 60, 70-year-old grandmother was asking for tastes of beer. And I'm like, she's 70. Give her a freaking taste of beer if she wants a taste of beer. I mean, I mean, yeah. I hit 50 and stopped GAF. Yay. Yay. Oh my gosh. So, Teresa, do I miss San Francisco? I do not miss San Francisco. I miss my people. I really feel like I need a trip back to the Bay Area because I really miss some people I haven't seen in a long time. But I have been seeing, I follow another group, I think on Facebook. I think it's a boondocking group or something. And I've been seeing a lot of pictures of California, the Sierra Nevadas, the Tahoe area, the beautiful blue rocky running water. I'm really missing California. So I'm kind of missing, you know, I had to take a few years to myself to kind of work through some of my own stuff. So I wasn't okay. I don't know how to say this. So I took a few year break from my mother while I worked through some things because I didn't want to. I needed to work through some stuff, and I took that break. And so the first up until the last 3 years, my whole entire RV life, I didn't feel that commitment to go back to New York to see her. And of course, a few years ago, I went back and we kind of had this wonderful reunion. She we're in a very, very, very good place. And it's a little bit of a shock to not see a parent for a decade and to go back and see how much they've aged. And so that is really making me want to go there every year. Honestly, I didn't plan on going last year. I was going to skip last year. Um, but then she got ripped off and she was a mess. I mean, that was just so hard on her that I dropped everything. I dropped all my plans. I dropped everything last year to drive cross country to be with my mom. And I'm glad I did. It was a really, really difficult thing to go through, but me being there helped her. And so all of that to say, there's a lot that I'm kind of missing about the way I used to live my RV life. Boondocking in the West, going through states like Idaho and Montana and to the Pacific Northwest. I mean, there's still so much I really haven't done that I would love to go back to doing. But right now, my commitment or my reality is that I want to go back east probably every year. So there's a lot that I'm not going to get to do, but there's a lot that I will get to do. Let me tell you first. What I'm going to do. I wasn't going to tell you, but I'll tell you. I'm not going to spend the whole summer in New York this year. I just can't. Like, been there, done that. So I'm only going to be there a month, maybe 6 weeks. I don't even think my mother knows that yet, but, and I'm going to come back on the Trans-Canadian Highway. I'm really enjoying kind of mixing things up and doing something different. So I've been kind of planning a little bit of a route, and I'm going to come back through Canada on the Trans-Canadian Highway. I might even meet up with Ralph. So I already did Vermont and Maine a couple years ago. So no. Probably, Vermont and Maine. Oh, I did want to go further north in Maine. I'm probably not going to do that this year. Because I need to get back to Nevada to vote. So my residency, I have to be here. I have to be in Nevada at least a month before election day, and I have to be there in order to legally vote. So I have to get back to Nevada. So I have to practice my take off to the Great White North. How's that, Ralph? Great White North. The McKenzie brothers. Yeah. And we talked, Ralph, that we might actually meet up. So Justy Raven says, both my parents were alcoholics. They were functional for decades. Mom had massive health issues for years before they died. They both passed away 2 months apart. Oh my gosh. Just 2 years ago. Wow. I don't think my mom would mind me telling you. I don't tell you a lot to, a lot of people are like, why don't you ever show your mom? I want to see. Why don't you film your mom? I'm not going to film my mother. No, I got to protect her. But she's sober. And that's a big part of our reconciliation. Like that big, huge, she's sober. She's been sober 4 years now. Different person. I am so grateful. Yeah. So grateful. So, all right. Up your nose with a rubber hose. All right. Yes. We're both sober. Even if I do take a freaking sip of beer once in a while. Yay, Mom. I know. She did it all on her own. I'm so proud of her. Taking care of my mom with stage 4 kidney failure. Oh, Mark, I'm so sorry. Ugh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I know. I can't handle it. I can't. All right. I have another question. Would you like me to answer a question that Richard Thomas, I know you're probably there listening, eating dinner or something. I'm going to answer his question. After being with friends, would you now consider going back to Baja if it was just you and Sadie on your own? I thought about this a lot because a lot of people have asked me this, and I actually told everybody probably when we were there a couple weeks that I wasn't sure I would feel safe there alone. And I don't know why. I think what happened is, here's what I think would have happened. If I would have gone alone, which I do everything alone. If I would have gone alone, I would have been fine. But I think having the comfort and security and friendship and camaraderie that I had, I was feeling a little vulnerable. I think. I mean, or maybe I was allowing myself to feel a little more vulnerable just because I had the comfort of people with me. I mean, you got to think about how much of my life I've spent alone the last 8 years I've been on the road. I was telling somebody this a couple years ago, a friend I met. I was like, I don't think you realize how much time I spend alone. I don't think people realize how much time I spend alone. Literally, like before I did the patron anniversary campouts 2 years ago, and that's where I started meeting friends, Edie and Cindy, and Sara and Aaron, and Ralph I've known the longest. I actually met Ralph right after Capone died years ago. But I didn't really start wanting to hang out with people until a couple years ago. Before that, I didn't spend more than 2 weeks a year with people. 2 weeks a year. Other than that, I was completely alone. I don't think people really like that registers. It didn't register with the person I was talking to. They were like, no way. I'm like, yeah. So I've gotten to this place, I think, that I don't even recognize, where I just kind of move forward through my life, and I'm like, okay, I'm going here, I'm going there, and I don't think about it, because staying safe and being aware of my surroundings is just so ingrained in my life and who I am, that I think going to Baja with a group of people took me out of that a little bit. It kind of took me out of autopilot, being alone, and maybe I don't know. But in that moment, I was feeling like I didn't know if I would have felt as comfortable being alone. After having done it for 2 months, I would absolutely 1,000% go alone and feel safe and comfortable, but it wouldn't be as fun. I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun. I had people have been telling me for years that things are more fun when you can share them with other people. I don't think that's always true. I think that's a little dismissive of your own experience. Personally, that's my opinion. But I will say, in Baja, I wouldn't have done nearly as much by myself as I did with my friends. And just the being able to troubleshoot and talk about things. I mean, and especially now that they're on YouTube and being able to share life as a YouTuber. I mean, there were just a million things that made it a good trip. So the short answer is yes, I could definitely go down there by myself. I don't know actually that I would want to. I don't know. It was fun. Yeah. What do you guys think? Make sense? Does that make sense? All right. Oh, thank you, Richard. You are there. I knew you were eating dinner or something, weren't you? All right. Yeah, now that I have the lay of the land, it was a good experience. Yeah. Yeah. Aw, thanks, Sara. Here. I don't know how to do that. I'm not a millennial. This is the Gen X. All right. All right. All right. Gotta find a balance. Exactly. So, and you know me, I've always been kind of like anti like this talk track, other word, that you're gonna come out here and you're gonna meet the best people, you're the best friends of your life. Well, that's not true for everybody. Some of us are introverts. Some of us have had a lot of life experiences that make us not jump into relationships with people, friends, anything quickly. So not everybody is going to come out here and meet their perfect best friends on day one. It took me 6 years. And I'm not saying that I didn't meet wonderful people that I really enjoyed, that I really liked. I mean, I can think of a few people that I camped with here and there over the years. And when we got together, we had great conversations and it was fun. And I liked these people, but it wasn't anything that stuck. You know what I mean? It wasn't anything that it was like, okay, well, where are you going to be next year? And it was not anybody's fault. It was just the dynamics of the relationships of the people. It was just nothing that ever stuck. And so yeah, you're not necessarily going to come out here and just instantly make a million friends, especially if you're how do I say this? You kind of get to an age and a place in your healing where you are very selective about the people you let into your life. I'm not going to apologize or make excuses for that. That's just a fact of a matter. That's just, a fact. It's just who I am. And it took me a long time to make friends. And balance, yes. Somebody said balance is key. Yeah, it is important to have balance. And okay. What I'm trying to say is don't latch on to the wrong people just to have people. Okay. Wait for the right people. The right people will come eventually. But if you have all the wrong people in your life, you're not going to have room for the right people. So if you need to spend 5 years alone, spend 5 years alone if you can handle that. And then when you find the right people, then you can find your balance. Okay, you know what? I love these new people and we'll camp together a couple weeks a year or 5 months a year or whatever it looks like for you. That's the moral of the story. Hi, Carrie Mountain. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Better late than never. No big groups for me. I'm Sally. Same here. Like, I can't do big groups at all. And the group size we started with 6 was really, really good. I think that's about as big as I can do. You can be alone in a crowd. Exactly. Yeah, Sarah, it took you a while to meet people too. You thought it would be instant community. No, not true. Exactly. 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 Thank you, Edie. Yeah, I'm very picky about the people I spend time with. Easy to meet people, hard to find good people who mesh. Absolutely. That well said. That's actually a really good point, Ralph. It's very easy to meet people. Yeah. And especially me. I mean, I'm an introvert, but I can be very extroverted and I can meet people. Well, especially if I'm in, I do what I do and I've been doing this since I started. So it's never been it's never been an issue meeting people since I've been on the road because I've been so public. But yeah. Yeah. Thanks. All right. Yeah, Laura, right. First convo, there's a connection. I got to tell you, Laura, one thing I have learned that my first impressions are still, I can still be, yeah, I can still be very wrong on first impressions. But, yeah. Yeah. Second part of his question, after your travels in Baja, are there any preconceived notions that you may have had that turned out to be different? And was it for the better or for the worse? This is still Richard. Any preconceived notions? We already talked about the driving. The roads, the roads, honestly, I don't think were as bad as I was expecting. There was a lot more. There were many more miles of good road than I thought there would be. We actually had quite a bit of good road. That one section of potholes, that was pure hell. But I pretty much expected all roads in Baja to be like that, and they weren't. And yeah, there were lots and lots of windy, narrow roads. Those sucked. Those sucked. But again, there were also some wide roads that were totally easy to drive. So I think overall, the driving was a little easier than I expected it to be. And again, we've all talked about how friendly and happy Mexicans seemed. And I remember our first day driving through Mexicali. We were on the outskirts of Mexicali and we were driving along houses, and the road was like in their backyard in a fence. And I remember seeing a group of people sitting outside and they waved at us as we went by. We had just passed the freaking wall. There are no Mexicans driving around in RVs that we saw. You know, everybody in an RV is a freaking gringo, okay? And they waved. And that was my very first impression. I think maybe I wondered how we would be received. I mean, I know there are a lot of Americans and Canadians in Baja, but I think I wondered how we would be received. And I was extremely surprised at how welcoming and friendly and hospitable and helpful and just kind they were toward us, and just how happy they seem in general. You know, and I talked about that a couple times in my videos, and it's kind of eye-opening, and it's eye-opening. It changes you. I think Sara has talked a lot about this too in her videos. It changes you. It gives you a whole different perspective. And I think it's even more profound of a feeling and perspective given the absolute hysteria right now over our southern border. I call it hysteria because that's what it is. It's not based in reality. It's based in pure fear-mongering emotion. And I think going there and being deep into the peninsula, real Mexico or not, and just seeing them live their lives, it's poignant. I mean, I guess that's the word that's coming to mind right now. You know, it's an emotional, poignant, just reality that I wish every American could experience. So yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, but Carolyn, you get what you reflect. When you are kind, you receive kind back. The fear mongering isn't helpful on human relations. I agree with that. You know what, and I do agree with that. You know, there have been studies. Well, okay, I don't want to get too deep into that, but studies show that conservatives are much more fear-based and resistant to change than liberals are, right? Progressive. That's the very, very meaning of the word progressive, that you're open to change, and we're generally less fearful. And so, yeah, I agree with that if you put out a less fearful face, I'm not afraid of you. You're a human being. Why would I be afraid of you? Why would I dislike you? Why would I distrust you? Right? Why would I distrust you? I think that might be the biggest one, because a lot of Americans go down there thinking every Mexican's going to freaking rip them off, going to bribe them or not give them back the right change or rip them off. And I did have one experience actually, and I cut it out because now I'm not so sure. I thought I got ripped off at the propane station, and Sara and Aaron showed up after, and I was like, I just got ripped off. And now I'm not so sure. I don't know. I thought I don't know. They charged me for 11 gallons of propane. It was at a quarter tank. It only went up to 3/4 of a tank. He let the valve bleed the whole time he was filling it up. I don't know. I started second guessing myself about whether or not I got ripped off. But for the most part, when we didn't approach them expecting to be ripped off or expecting anything. We approached them like human beings, and you're right. That's exactly what we got back. So. All right. The richness has nothing to do with money. I totally agree with that 1,000%. And I think that's where we as a society have kind of gotten lost. You know, the almighty dollar speaks, you know, and has so much power, probably too much power. So, you would try. Yeah, actually, that's really good advice, Sara. You're right. That's really good advice. Yeah. You're right. You're right. Something felt fishy. It wasn't just the logistics of it. The whole thing was kind of fishy. Good advice. All right. See, Sara's my friend. Sara can advise me on things. And she would never tell me I can't have a sip of alcohol. Sorry. Oh my God, I'll let it go. I promise. I'll let it go right now. Okay. There are people with integrity and those without in every group or society. That's exactly right, TD. But unfortunately, I feel like too many people in our country are painting anybody south of the border with a big, giant, broad stroke, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Lynn, freaking hilarious. I really don't hold on to shit. I really don't. I do. Another problem with spending too much time alone. It is a little harder to let go of things, I noticed, than it was, but pretty sure I got ripped off at a jewelry store, but tequila tasting prior wasn't the best idea. Total lightweight. That's funny right there. That's funny. Hey, Bun Antonio, welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, money and politics. That's right. The evil of the ruin of every what am I thinking of? The downfall of all societies or something like that. Anyway. All right. Any questions? Any other questions? We covered a lot. I covered a lot. A lot of information here. Oh my God, we've been on almost 2 hours. And you guys have all been with me, Sarah and Ralph and Edie. I know that you had to have dinner first, but Cheryl, I know a lot of you guys have been here. I break for bad roads. That's funny. Yeah. The pavement looked pretty good compared to 30 years ago. Gypsy Traveler. I'm telling you, many miles of those roads were in very, I gotta tell you, some parts of our driving in Baja were better than a lot of roads I've driven here. Indiana in the house, Melissa, freaking Indiana last year. Oh my God, that was terrible. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Am I getting back to my baseline as a solar traveler? I am. Actually, next Sunday's video is my first nights after the trip of being alone. So it's going to be a very quiet video. I've done a couple of these before where there's really not any talking, probably hardly at all. And it's just going to be, I think it's going to be a really powerful video of just me being out on my own again. But I'm enjoying it. I miss all you guys. I mean, I do. I miss things for sure, but I am, it's weird. It changed me. That trip changed me, being with all you guys all that time. And, it's definitely impacted my life and a lot of things, but I am enjoying being on the road again. I am enjoying my solitude. It took me like 2 weeks for the crash to come. It was interesting because at first I was like, I'm fine. I did all that socializing and all that extroverting and look at me, I'm fine. And literally, I think about a week and a half ago, it hit me. I started getting really tired and losing my energy and my motivation and, just that constant go, because in addition to, all that travel and all that peopling, work too. And it kind of hit me. This was a nice break. The live stream this week, I'm really glad I did it. It was a really nice break to not have to just be sitting at the computer hours and hours and hours and hours all week to put into editing. So yes, Edie, thank you for that question. I am getting back to my baseline. All right. All right. Yes, Ralph, thank you. I do not share my location in real time. In case you haven't had the memo, I've had death threats. All right. Not recently, but you can never be too sure. People don't like me. Can you imagine? Can't imagine why people don't like me. I like it. I think it's awesome. If everybody liked me, I'd definitely be doing something wrong. All right. I love 56, man. All you women out there, somebody else just said earlier, once you get to a certain age and you just don't give a shit anymore, it's so liberating. All right. That happened. Oh, wow. Sarah too. Happened to me. Lost all my focus and so tired. Yeah. It was a big trip. I don't think any of us really fully appreciated, Yeah, I mean, we boondock the same way, right? I mean, you go and you usually sit for at least a week's 2 weeks, and we didn't do any of that. We did a lot. It was a big trip. We did a lot, so it makes sense that we were all a little spent after a while, just kind of getting back into our more relaxed pace of traveling. Thank you, Rhonda. I'm really glad you enjoyed them. Thank you for coming along for the ride. Ooh, somebody's rude. Who's rude? I want to know. I want to know. Oh, wow. Do we have a fight going on? Am I ignorant or is somebody else ignorant? All right. I'm ignorant. Am I ignorant? I'm an ignorant. I'm a lot of things. I'm ignorant. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. All right. Love Muzz. I'm catching you at the end of your live, but did you touch on the safety in Baja? Did you feel safe there? Yeah, I talked about that a lot. And yes, I felt totally safe. Carolyn is on. I'm on the moon. I am. You want to see? Look, here. There you go. That's where I am. Look it. Are you going to be able to see it? Okay, it's going to take a minute. That's where I am. I'm on the moon. I'm in a really, really cool place, actually. I can't wait to show you the videos. All right. Good, Cheryl Stryker. Goodbye, Carolyn. I ignored your comments because I really enjoy your channel. You are the one painting conservatives. My son fought and almost died defending this country. His battle buddy did die. I'm ignorant and I'm ignorant and she's leaving. You are one painting conservatives. How did I paint conservatives? First of all, you want to have this conversation? How did I paint conservatives? I cited a study, an actual study. I cited a study. And if that offends you, well, don't know what to tell you. I did not see the eclipse. No. Thank you, Linda Floyd. I'm glad you've learned a lot. Oh my God. I just realized I put my computer up to the window to show you outside. But I'm doing this on my phone. I'm such a dork. I'm so ignorant and stupid. There you go. You want to see outside? I am on the moon. Look at. Look at. Look at. Look at. It is the moon. I'm such an idiot. I'm such a dork. I'm not going to call myself an idiot, but I'm a dork. I picked up my computer and I was just looking. I'm like, why am I? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Cheryl Stryker is no longer a friendly. I want everyone to know that. All right. I even said, what are you doing with that laptop? I'm a dork. All right. Any other questions? Not a dork. I'm a dork. No, I'm a dork. No, you're a dork. A complete idiot of myself. Now you're all afraid to even like point out when I do something silly. Oh. Am I yelling at you, Cheryl? I'm not yelling at you. No. Oh no, Cheryl Stryker. I think it was Cheryl Stryker got mad at me for painting conservatives. Wrong camera. You guys are funny. Yep, total wrong camera. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Smooth Skater. I'm sorry. I'm sorry too. Thank you. That means a lot. That really means a lot. I understand that how I do sobriety isn't how a lot of people do sobriety. I get that. But I also just get really amazed at how people who watch me for a long time can still, number one, tell me what to do, knowing how much I hate that. And number two, not get that I don't do things like everybody else. I don't do anything like everybody else. I do things in ways that work for me. And for the record, my therapist knows this. It's not like I hide it. And I don't know why I'm explaining myself. But that means a lot, Smooth Skater. Thank you. Thank you. And again, I'm sorry I lost my temper with you. I definitely could have handled that better, and I apologize. All right. But so are we okay now? Are we okay? Okay. All right. Welcome to Trans Canadian in Canada. I'm excited. I can't wait to do that. Buffering a little bit better now. Okay, I need to probably like get off this computer. Thank you, Cheryl. Cheryl, Smooth Skater. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I understand. I do. Now that I'm calmer, I understand I understand that it was probably like a knee-jerk reaction. But literally, I mean, and I'm not recommending everybody who's sober do it, but I've been doing it for years. It's this day. I've never had a full beer, never had half a beer, never had a drink. You know, I'm still sober. I miss the taste of it. And so I'll take a sip every once in a while. And I'm able to do that. Not everybody probably can, but I wouldn't do a line of Coke now. That would be pushing it. Oh, come on. Can I just have one little bump? No. No. All right. All right. What did I do? I'm not going to, am I buffering? Would I consider the coast to coast trail out of Mexicali hiking? My long distance hiking days are over. I'll bring you a good Canadian beer for your trip up here. One sip only. That's right. Larango. I am happy. Thank you. I am. I'm in a really, really good place. I think the trip was good. It was good socializing. It was a good time. And I'm just feeling like I'm in a really, really calm, despite this, in my own life, in my RV, when I'm not dealing with the public. I'm feeling good. I'm writing my memoir. I had been stuck, interestingly enough, on my marriage for a year. I got up to that stage of my memoir of my marriage, and I couldn't write for a year. But he just passed away. You guys may, if you watch the video, my ex-husband passed away. Gosh, what's it been? 2 months now? Out of the blue. 64 years old. He went to the emergency room one day because he hadn't been feeling well, and 3 days later was diagnosed with crazy cancer and died a month later. I think it was a month from emergency room to death. So, yeah. I don't know, for some reason, that prompted me to get to write that. It's not easy stuff. I got to tell you, it's yeah. So anyway, yes, I'm in a good place. I am happy. Thank you. I don't talk. I try not to talk too much about my really, really personal stuff. I mean, I know I've shared a lot of personal things with you, but they've all been with a purpose, you know, like my sobriety and my, the abuse that I went through. I mean, the things that I have shared with you have been in order to help other women feel less alone. And that's what my memoir is about. My memoir is oh boy. I keep writing thinking, oh my goodness. Oh boy. It's very personal. And the reason I've shared myself so vulnerably and so openly is because I never want, I spent so much of my life feeling so much shame and feeling so alone. Like I was the only one who went through things and experienced things. And so what I share on this channel is always with a purpose to help other women feel less alone. And I don't think that every detail of my personal life, especially the people in my life, need to be a part of that story necessarily. So while I've mentioned him passing, yeah, I haven't talked a lot about him because it's not necessary to the story. It's not necessary to my purpose here. So what I will say is we had in the beginning of our marriage was really the beginning of our relationship was really difficult. A lot of stuff, a lot of drama. But in the end, 13 years later, when I decided to leave him, I got sober and I had and decided to leave him. It wasn't because he was horrible. I mean, he wasn't a horrible person. It was just because it wasn't right for me anymore. So I do want to say that now that he's gone. I mean, we didn't break up because he was a horrible, rotten, lousy person. It was just because I needed to do other things. So it was hard when he passed for a lot of reasons. It hit me a lot harder than I would have imagined. But yeah, thank you, Smooth Skater. Last month I lost last month and a half, your 3-year-old buddy. Oh no. And my friend who I call Dad. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Larango, exes dying or painful. I am surprised at how painful 13 years. He longest relationship I ever had, the only person I've ever been married to. I haven't talked to him since Capone died. I sent him a text, because he got remarried. Yeah, he got remarried. I'll leave that there. He got remarried, and the last communication we ever had, I sent him a text that Capone died, and so I was really kind of caught off guard by how much it hit me and how emotional I was about it. I was more emotional, frankly, before he died, when he was in the hospital, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna die. Well, no, maybe not more. Anyway, it's a lot. Thank you. Rhonda, you have reached me with the PTSD things you've talked about. I appreciate you and your courage. Oh, Rhonda, that means a lot to me. Thank you. And I think that it's hard, I think, for a lot of people to see when I share so vulnerably and I share so openly. I think a lot of people think I'm an open book. I'm kind of not, and I understand too that a lot of people feel close to me because of how much I've shared, but I share with a purpose. I really do. And I know sometimes it doesn't seem that way, but everything that I have shared on this channel in my videos I've asked before I've shared it, why am I doing this? What's the purpose? What do I hope people are going to get from it? And the fact that people are affected by it in positive ways just means the world to me. So thank you for letting me know. And I'm glad that I'm able to help you feel less alone, because that's really what I want to do here. Just help people feel, women and men too. And I know I've reached some men, so I'm not trying to discount you men, but I also know that a lot of the issues that I have faced as a woman are mostly exclusive to women, but that doesn't mean that I don't love and value the men in my audience as well, and know that I have touched some men too. And I know a few male survivors have reached out to me over the years. And so, yeah, I know there are male survivors as well. So, I'm the most real YouTuber I watch. Wow. Aw, well, thank you. Thank you, Lisa Richards. I appreciate a lot about you. Thank you so much. Linda Floyd, thank you. Aw. Holding you in healing space. Thank you, Jane Enterprise. That means a lot. So I appreciate you all so much. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for all the kind words and sympathy. People don't realize that you don't just turn on the camera and talk. Exactly. I don't. I have been accused of a couple times of using my camera as a therapy session. And I guess I can kind of see that it might seem that way to some people, but no, I have therapy and a very good therapist for my therapy sessions. That's not at all what I use this for. At least I try not to. I don't know, maybe maybe in the beginning, I don't know, but no. Thank you, Cheryl. That means a lot. Smooth Skater, you brought back a memory from my drinking days. Oh my goodness. Hi, Maggie. Welcome. I'm glad you're a new viewer, and I'm glad life is a therapy session. That's a pretty good freaking point. Yes. thank you for being here, new person. All right, I got to get off this thing and take Sadie out before it starts getting dark. It's supposed to snow tonight. I had to move 3,000 feet lower in elevation because it's supposed to snow tonight. You should have seen the spot I was in last night. Oh my goodness. It's going to be in a video in 2 weeks. I'm only like 2 weeks behind right now. All right. All right. Any last minute questions before I hang up? Appreciate you. So look for the video about finances, about how much it costs. Thank you, Richard. I really appreciate you so much. Moderators, thank you, thank you, thank you. Richard, Ralph, Melissa, Edie. Did I forget anybody? Our moderators, you all rock. You did a wonderful job. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And what do you want me to answer? Boo bun, boo bun. What do you want me to answer? Ask it again. How many miles does your RV have on it? 144,000. 144,000 miles on it. It had 57 when I bought it. All right. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. You can join Patreon for free now. Yes. So just head over to Patreon and you can now join for free. And I do post some free bonus content there once in a while. You can also join for just $5 a month and get instant access to hundreds of things you've never seen before. And that reminds me, before we hang up, get a Waggle pet monitor so that you can have peace of mind every time you have to leave your cat or your duck or your dog or your lizard in your RV or van when you go run errands or do your shopping. And use the link in the video description below and discount code Sadie60 to get 60% off this weekend only. Thanks again, Waggle. Thank you all so much. Thanks for the super chats. I appreciate you all so much. 60% off is the best deal ever. All right. 6 commercials? You guys had 6 commercials on my live? Oh my gosh. That's new. That's a lot. You had 4? Yeah, lots of commercials. Okay. Oh, okay. That must be, I think I can turn them off. I'll turn them off for the next live. I'm sorry. I didn't realize mid-roll commercial. They didn't used to put commercials in live. I could turn on monetization, but they wouldn't show the commercials until after. Yeah, only one, but I was late. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. All right, I'm gonna turn them off for the next live stream. You will not have commercials during the live stream. I'll turn them off, especially if I'm doing a paid promotion. Thank you for your patience and thank you for letting me know. All right. I know. So you know what? I guess you guys are probably on. Yeah, that is weird. Lisa didn't have any commercials. Hi, Cynthia. Oh, Natalie didn't have any commercials. Huh. All right, I gotta go. Thank you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you found this helpful. And I'll see you next Sunday night. I have a really cool, I think you're going to like it, a very quiet, very nature-forward, calming video next Sunday night that I have to start making tomorrow. All right, thank you all so much. I'll see you next time. And in the meantime, be happy, be free. Sadie girl, you want to come say goodbye? We gotta say goodbye. Come here. Come say goodbye. Come on. Come say goodbye. Everybody wants to see you. Come say goodbye. No? Want to get a treat? Oh, look what I bought in Mexico. Last thing. My favorite souvenir in Mexico. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? It was made in Oaxaca. All right. Bye, everybody. Sadie doesn't want to come and say goodbye. Come on. No, she wants to go outside. All right. Mwah. Bye. How do you turn this thing off? I want to stop streaming. Yes. Bye.